We've arrived. Yes, we've arrived. It's the conclusion of the Sydney Graves story and series this week here on YouTube, and trust me, she saves some of her most profound insights for last. In this final part, Sydney opens up about her heart. She opens her heart even, that's probably best to say, about the experiences that shaped her, from facing deep personal loss to making the life-changing decision to move across the world, something I know a little bit about myself. Get ready for a conversation that will inspire you to embrace every part of your journey. Here's Sydney. Let's go. Keep leading your own way, people. You said you guys lost a few people close to you. Was that family, friends who were close to you when you were a little bit younger?
Oh no, this was so I always forget who went first. So my granddad got cancer,
Yeah.
and he died, and my mum was obviously obsessed with him. He died, and I was probably about 13, 14. Then my godmother, who was like my mum's sister, she was like her auntie. She used to live in the servants' house of my nana's house. My nana had this massive house in the Lake District, and she lived in the smaller house on the side. So she used to babysit my mum as a child. So she was like in between my mum and my nana's age. But I obviously knew her for the whole of my life. Called Marty, and she had an asthma attack at like 53 and died. They found her on our kitchen floor. She suffocated. She couldn't find her inhaler in time. And that happened within a year, and then probably about a year later, my step brother, who was my stepdad's son, who my mum pretty much brought up for a lot of his life, committed suicide. So that was in the space of 2 years. So I was about 14 when that happened, and I remember vividly walking back with my friend, and I could just hear my mum wailing down the street. I could just hear wails like, and I was like, what the hell? And I remember walking in, and then I thought to myself, I can't cry again in front of my mum now,
Why?
because I thought I have to look after her. If I'm upset, she'll be worse. So I was just like, right. So then I just was like, okay, I need to be a bit more of an adult now. So
Yeah.
that was really tough. I remember being at my stepbrother's funeral, and she was really like echoing wails, like crying, and my throat was up to here with tears. But I thought I don't want to cry because she'll worry about me crying. So I think that was a
Yeah.
lot for me to take on at like 14. It's quite a lot for me to
Yeah,
go through. Um,
you guys had a lot going on at that time, didn't you, for sure? Yeah.
yeah,
I can
yeah,
relate to that because
um,
when my gran died, my mum was the one. My gran brought me up, but I lived with my mum and my gran, and I remember my mum crying, but I didn't cry because,
yeah.
in a way, I was supporting my mum. I wanted to cry.
I
She was like my
know.
mum, right? So I think
Yeah.
you were going to say something then. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, I wasn't. I was going to say, like, that's to say, like, you feel like it's really weird. You go into the parent, you're like,
Yeah,
I'm so worried. I love this person so much. I don't want them to worry about me when they're already worrying. But that's not something that a child should ever think. But she didn't put us in that scenario. I
yeah,
didn't put us in that scenario. That's just how it was. And we neither of us can change that. And it wasn't like she wasn't supportive of me. I think she was like, why aren't you upset? Like, this is weird. But I was just so like, I need to be okay for my mum. Like, I can't be upset. That then that's kind of been the trajectory of our whole life. I very rarely cry in front of my mum, to be honest. I don't really cry in front of her because I just feel like, I don't know, I've just got like this block. I just can't really cry in front of her very often.
you should look at that. There's some blockages going on there too, right?
Yeah,
Get
for
hypnotized.
sure.
That'll release something maybe.
Add that into it.
So after midwifery, then once you graduated from university, how long were you working in midwifery before you moved to Australia?
Um, 7 years, 7.5 years, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
so
actually
quite a
wanted to
while.
ask you what made you fall in love with wanting to become a midwife? Was it just generally because of mothers and women, or supporting people, or looking after people, being there for people?
I guess because I was an only child and I saw my cousins once a year, maybe. They lived
Yeah,
a while away. I didn't really have that close knit family, and my mum wanted me to have that, but we just didn't really have a huge family, so we didn't really get that. So I found so much warmth in watching a baby be brought into a world. Like I watched everyone used to watch One Born every minute. So that was like, oh my God, that's amazing. And I was really like I just had an obsession with pregnant people, and I was like, this is crazy. Like I can't believe that our bodies do this, and I just found it really interesting, and that's what helped me do well with it, because I enjoyed the topic. So I
Yeah.
really wanted to know more about it and know how our bodies do all of this, and then that allowed it to be a little bit more easy than something that I really didn't enjoy at all. And yeah, I just that environment. I remember the first birth I ever went to. I was so lucky. I always was so jammy, right? I got the best things ever, and like everyone else didn't get good stuff, and I was like, this is the best. And people used to worry about, because you have to get 40 births. Like, we have to deliver the baby 40 times to be able to be passed as a midwife. That's what it was. And
Oh,
everyone used to be like, oh my God, I haven't got enough births. And I'd be like, oh, I'll get them. I'd just be like, I'll get them. I didn't worry about it, and I got them. And I didn't worry about it. I didn't have to do any extra hours. I just got them. And the first birth I went to was on like the 28th of December, so it's Christmas. The woman was having a home birth. The Christmas tree was up. She had a baby in the pool, and I was just like, this is unbelievable that I've just got to see this. This one is my first birth ever, that I've saw such a magical thing happen. And it was just in the dark at 3 a.m. There was fairy lights on, and it was just lovely. And I thought, that's how I want my birth to be. And that's how I want every woman to feel when I'm there at their birth. So it's just such a lovely, and I feel sad because I'm like, oh my God, I'm not going to see that for a while. Although my friend's pregnant, so I'm going to go to her home birth. Um, but
yeah.
yeah, but
That's
yeah.
amazing.
So
Oh, that's a
yeah.
perfect answer. That, my God, I didn't expect that. So working as a midwife in England, then it sounded like you were happy because you said you preferred it over working here in Australia. No offense to the Australian hospitals. Um, were you happy in England?
Yeah. Oh no, I was fine. I actually was fine. Like, I didn't. People were like, "Oh, the NHS is horrific. Did you have to leave because it was so awful?" And I was like, "Every job there's stresses. No matter
Yeah.
where you go, you're going to have stresses. It's about how you manage them." I didn't go into work like, "This is horrific. Like, I'm complaining all the time. This is awful." I was just like, "Do you know what? I think there's more to life. I think I want to try something else. I think I'll give it a go. If it doesn't work out, I'll come back." That was it. That was literally it. That was how I felt. And a close friend had been diagnosed with cancer probably about a year or a couple of years before then, and then she died. And that then made me make the leap. That was the, oh my God, just go for it. What else have you got to lose? Like, you've got a home back home. You've got your mum back home. All of your friends are back home. Give it a go.
It's that in a way. I always say crisis equals change, and I hate to say it, but everything always seems to come to when people make a leap, such a drastic leap in life. It's some form of crisis. I mean, I know you've
Yeah.
turned it into growth, right? But it had to. You had this idea, but it had to take your friend to pass away,
Hmm.
unfortunately, to make you to do that, push you, I suppose, off the cliff to do
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah.
How long before you moved to Australia was it? Did you just go, fuck this, I'm out? Or was it
Um,
a period of time
no,
that
it
you had
was
to,
I'm trying to think what year it was. No, it must have been about a year after.
yeah. It's
Because
quite a long
obviously
time.
We had COVID and everything, but I'd already started looking into it, and then, but it took a year and a bit to get my visa. So, like, all in all, for the process, it took about 16 months because it just took a little bit longer. There was delays with my visa. Um, so I would say probably by, I'm trying to think whether it was that year when she passed that I started looking into it, or if it was the year before that she passed. I can't think of what the dates were. But yeah, it wasn't long after then when I thought, I'm just going to go. And my friends were like, "Shut up, man. You're not going to go. You're a proper home bird. Like, you love your house and you love this and you love that." And I was like, "No, I'm going, I'm actually going to go." And all of them like, "Oh, you'll come back." And I was like, "I will. I'm only going for a year. All my stuff is still in my house. I've got a loft full of all of my stuff. My crockery, my TV, my Hoover, everything is in my loft." I said to the people renting my house, I was like, "You do realise that I'm going to be back. All of my stuff's upstairs. It's got blankets on. Don't worry." And now I'm never going. I'm never going to go back to live there full time. But it will always be my home. I will always go there frequently.
So you own a house in England,
Yeah,
and so you're just renting it out.
yeah. I've owned a
Yeah.
house in England since I was 25.
But so people who live in your house could go into the loft and see your stuff.
Use my stuff. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
It's
That's
all right.
crazy. Can you put it in your mum's house?
No, God, you seen friggin' how you can't even get in her loft. I'm like, we can't even get up the stairs. There's just stuff flying out left, right, and centre. Nah, if they're going to take it, they can take it. I'm not going to use it now. It is what it is. It's
So
fine.
you're not done with England. Not that there's any hate behind it, but you won't go back to live in England. This is not a period of life for 5-10 years. You're shutting England off from living there again.
I don't ever think I'm going to have a place where I've got like a fixed address.
Wow.
Yeah. When I have kids, I want to travel with kids. I don't even know if I want them to go to school, to be honest. I
Mm.
kind of thinking like, yes, I would quite like them to go to school in the early years and learn how to read and write and all that stuff, which I would obviously teach them. But the more I have this life, the more I'm like, I think kids can learn on the go. You can give them budgets, you can give them stuff to do. Like, I don't know, like I didn't learn in the way that you're meant to at school, and I think
Mm.
that hindered my confidence, and I would hate for that. The only thing that I worry is maybe not making friends and stuff as easily. Um, but
Uh,
I don't know, I'm miles off that. But
You know, it's interesting you bring that up because I used to work in quite an affluent area of Melbourne, and people, it's quite frequent. Here, you don't get fined. In England, I know you get fined for taking kids out of school,
yeah,
or you're not allowed to do that. But I don't think there's a teacher on the planet. I don't care how good of a teacher you are. I don't think there's a teacher on the planet or a school on the planet that can teach the children what the world can teach them. I used to
yeah,
have families come to me saying, right, we're going traveling for 6 months, can you give me some work? And it wasn't the fact that I didn't want to do more. I mean, it would have created a lot more work for me to give them packs of stuff to do.
yeah,
In the sense, it would have to
yeah.
come as a pack of worksheets. I mean, who wants to do a worksheet when they're traveling? Nobody
No,
does.
no,
And I used
no,
to say to them, look, I don't care if I'm the best teacher on the planet. I cannot offer what the world can offer them. So do what you
yeah,
just said: budgets, read a menu, write a
yeah,
book, take loads of books with
yeah,
you, go and give them to some poor homes and get some new ones, and then release them
yeah,
and give them away. There's so much you can do. That would, and
yeah.
even get meeting. When I was traveling the world, I was in the Cook Islands, and there was this family on the beach. They'd come from Wales, believe it or not. I was with my best mate and loads of other backpackers. We were all drinking all the time. There was this family there, and these kids were teaching me. He was well off. He owned a business, so he had people back working, so they could do what they want. It was amazing. But these two, I was like, how dare you take them out of school for so long? Thinking I was knowing everything about teaching at that point, because I wasn't a teacher yet, but I knew I was going to be. And
Yeah.
they were teaching me about these fish that come around from on the edge of the beach every 4 years. They're not there every year. It's every 4 years they end up at this beach, and
Hmm.
he done the research on these fish before getting there. And
No
this
way.
3-year-old and this 6-year-old were having this conversation with a stranger, may I add, but beautifully speaking. And I'm thinking,
Yeah.
fuck, I changed my whole perspective then. So I agree.
Perspective.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do the travel if you can. I mean, if I could do it, I
Yeah.
totally would. Sometimes I said, let's sell the house. We'd have 250 grand, go and buy a nice caravan. We'll just go traveling. I could
Hmm.
do casual teaching on the road and do the podcast
You don't need to
still.
sell your house. Just pull your equity out.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah. But we
Do
don't
that.
want to. We don't want to max the whole thing out either when we're back to the drawing board.
No, but you don't ever have to own a home. What do you gain from owning a home?
I know. No, I know you're right. You're absolutely
You've got
right.
to you've got to not be conditioned. If you like you were thinking about that, what you were just talking about there about going to school, and you being conditioned to believe you have to go to school because that's what we've been taught our whole life. Why are we
Mm,
conditioned to buy a house? Like you could buy two houses. You could pull your money out and buy two houses and just pay interest only and never own your home, but live a life where you've got a lot of cash where you can do what you want, and then you don't have the pressures of I need to go to work, I need to do this.
yeah,
There's
you
lots of
can.
options, but people don't know.
There, there is. You're right. You can only borrow up to 80% in Australia though, so you've got to leave 20% there. So I
Okay.
think,
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know how much we could. I think we probably could borrow 100. So if we sell it though,
Mhm.
we get the full 100% equity though.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
difference.
Mhm.
Um, Yeah, interesting. So you moved to Australia, and obviously life changes. Did you move over here with anybody from in the UK?
Yeah, I moved over with my ex-boyfriend who wasn't really a huge fan of moving. Like he wasn't really up for it, but then had some troubles with work back home and he was like, "Do you know what? Let's go." So we came out, we broke up pretty swiftly after, and then he moved to another part of Melbourne. Rarely speak to him. Sometimes speak to his mum because we really got on. I lived at his mum's house for a year before moving out because everything was
Mm,
delayed.
yeah.
So yeah, came out with him.
Oh, nice. Well,
Hmm.
it just shows you the path that you're both going on is meant to be, right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And he's got a good
Yeah,
job now, so I think he's
that's good.
happy.
And I wonder what he thinks about your journey, because he obviously knows the raw Sydney,
Yeah,
and now Sydney's, whoa, this, person who's
yeah, God,
doing
he's probably like,
unbelievable
what
things.
the hell? He's probably like, she's a bloody nightmare.
So, okay, well, it's interesting. You've got a fascinating journey, absolutely fascinating. And it's just incredible what you're doing. With that in mind, then, is there anything that you think? I asked this to everybody. Is there anything that you think we've missed that the viewers could benefit from your journey?
Um, Now we've gone over quite a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
which is good because I have about 10 conversations in one, so that's helpful. I don't think there's anything specific that I would want to talk too much about that we haven't already covered, to be honest.
I love it. I love watching your journey. I do enjoy watching a few reels here and there. It's and you taught me a
Thanks.
lot. You taught me a lot at the beginning when we first started talking. We get on the phone. You'd be like, Andy, don't send that out now. Oh God, bloody hell! All right, jeez, I won't send it out now, Sydney. I'll retract it, archive it, don't delete it.
Yes, exactly.
And I know your followers are genuine, because as soon as you shared one of my reels, I think I woke up with 100 followers. By the way,
Oh, that's nice.
so thank you. 100 of
Yeah,
your
well,
my.
I've just done a reading with a lady who has just started like she's just changed her whole like life around. She started doing readings like cards, but she does them with like art. Like she's a designer and she does them through a bit like a vision board. So she does it as pictures rather than like old school tarot cards. And we did that, and it was really good. And she just messaged me saying three people have booked who you've
Oh,
shared it and three people have booked on, so she's made like a few £100s from that, and I'm like, oh, that's really nice. I'm really happy that
brilliant.
people have booked on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
Incredible. Yeah, incredible. All right, future plans for Sydney. I love asking this question because I want people to understand, who are watching the show, that we're not here. You're not made it. It's ongoing. Your journey's going to be ongoing. What's the future plans for Sydney in the big picture?
So immediate plans, get back to being me, I guess.
Yeah.
Get a bit more grounded, work out some stuff where I need to go. Not planning too much in the future. So often I plan too far ahead, just doing week to 2 weeks and thinking, right, what's my next move after the next couple of weeks. But over the next 3 months, I'm really, really excited because I'm working with a recruitment agency and I really want to help people move out to
Mm,
Australia to get a job who are in healthcare. I really want to help people potentially buy a first home because I'm hoping interest rates are going to get better out here because they're pretty shocking. I know they're getting better in England, but I'm doing some work with those. And then travel. I just want to go out and like show people that there's other sides to the world and other things to do. So yeah, I
agree.
think, and also just taking like just saying yes to stuff that I want to do and no to stuff that I don't want to do.
Yeah. That's it. And I think that sums up your journey in the way your character is and your personality is, just going with the flow, leading with intention, and also living with purpose, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, with that in mind, then as well, if for anyone who's listening can connect with your story, you've just touched on a range of different topics: people moving, ADHD, midwifery, etc., change of life, separation, people, losing loved ones, and so on. If you could give people a piece of advice, what would that general piece of advice be?
If it feels right, lean into it. Don't do things because other people are telling you that that's what you should do.
Mhm.
Sometimes actually keep things to yourself until you've made the decision already, because other people can skew your idea of what you actually want to do, and you end up doing things that you don't want to do and then regret them. Not that you should ever regret anything in life, but I do think like just kind of go with what your gut's telling you, and like don't worry about things too much. Just kind of yeah, lean into it and see how things go.
Yeah, because some people, when you tell somebody an idea, their reaction sometimes, one, they're doing it out of the jealousy and like, oh, you can't do
Yeah,
that, I can't do that. But also then when you see their reaction, you start to doubt it, don't you? Because I used to tell people I was going
yeah,
traveling for years. I said, I'm going traveling from 18. I was like, got the brochures, I'm going traveling. And now I could see it in people's eyes, no, you're not, Andy. And I didn't. And then when it came to the point I was actually going to travel, I booked the ticket, and then I told people, and I got the same reaction. I said, well,
yeah.
there's the
Well, I
ticket.
am.
I'm going. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm so glad I did it that way,
yeah.
because I just had to push myself over the line. So yeah, I totally agree with that.
And
Absolutely.
it comes from a place of love. People are worried for you. They project their worries onto you.
Yeah.
But if it feels right for you inside, then lean into it and think, right, how can I get there? What can I do to make this perfect and make this okay? And if it isn't perfect, that's okay because something else is going to come up.
Yeah. Have you noticed that actually in your life where because of the change of trajectory of your life with social media and everything that you're doing, have you noticed, people who are closer maybe step further away from you now?
No, actually, I haven't. No, all of my friends are pretty solid. Like,
Are
I
they?
haven't got a huge group of friends, but I've got a group of friends that are very, very secure and good.
Mm.
I've not really had any that have given me any backlash at all. Nothing.
It doesn't have to necessarily be backlash. Maybe not acknowledging what you do.
Nah, none of them have done. They're all like, well done, that's great,
Mm.
amazing, buzzing for you, blah, blah,
Amazing.
blah. Yeah.
That's incredible.
I've
They're
got
true
very good
friends.
friends.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
definitely. Well, it's crystal clear, but I always ask the guests to tell us what their purpose is in a very simple line. It's quite
Helping
difficult.
other, I would say, my purpose on earth is helping others. That's it. Just helping other people. Yeah.
Beautiful. Perfect way to end the episode. Sydney, we've finally got it done. We've finally got it over the
Yeah.
line.
Brilliant.
Been
Thank
amazing.
you. Thanks
Absolutely
so
incredible.
much. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for coming on. Thanks for sharing, coming on my journey. This is part of my journey doing the
Yeah.
podcast. I love to talk. I love to meet new people. And I love, what I love? I love making people feel that they've known me for years, even if they've known me for just an hour. It's part
Yeah.
of my purpose.
That's
So,
nice.
yeah.
Oh,
Thank you, Sydney. Now, I appreciate you joining me on Leading Our Own Way. And I know a
oh.
lot of people will get a lot out of this episode, and hopefully they'll see a side that they've maybe not seen before, maybe, hopefully.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff I've not spoken about. So yes, I hope so.
You heard it right here, people. Right here on Leading Our Own Way. First to hear
Exclusive.
from you. Exclusive, world exclusive. Well,
Love
thank you,
it.
Sydney, for joining us and giving up your time on holiday to spend with me as well. But
My pleasure.
let's catch up when you're back in Melbourne. Let's make an effort to get a coffee and have a
Absolutely.
laugh.
Yes, absolutely. Sounds good.
Beautiful. Brilliant, beautiful.
Thank
Well,
you.
to everybody
Thanks.
who's joined us today, thanks for listening to Sydney and I. And until next week, have a great week. Keep leading your own way and have a great weekend. We'll see you next week for another amazing, inspiring guest. See you then. Some of her most profound insights for last. In this final part, Sydney opens up about her heart. She opens her heart, even, that's probably best to say, about the experiences that shaped her, from facing deep personal loss to making the life-changing decision to move across the world. Something I know a little bit about myself. Get ready for a conversation that will inspire you to embrace every part of your journey. Here's Sydney. Let's go. Keep leading your own way, people. And there you have it. The complete story of how one woman had the courage to completely transform her life and help thousands of others along the way. Sydney's journey, though, reminds us that our greatest challenges often lead to our most beautiful opportunities. If you enjoyed this series, please follow the show, subscribe. We've got another more, even previously amazing guests to watch and tune into coming forward. It's I love sharing stories that just inspire stories of transformation. I just love it. I really enjoy it. So please help me out. Let me reach more people. Let me get more guests on the show. I feel like it's my purpose, so be a part of that, please, by subscribing. But until next time, keep leading your own way and have a great weekend. We'll see you soon. Thanks for listening and watching Leading Our Own Way. So we can stay together forever and share more incredible journeys, please subscribe to the channel. That way you won't miss next week's episode and what that amazing guest has to offer to the world. Please support Leading Our Own Way, and we'll get you on next week's episode.